My mother was concerned about her mathematics, and she said, the principal told her, Polly, just keep painting. Forget about all the other stuff. You will be a success in this world. Hi, I'm Don King, and Polly King was my mother, and you're going to see some examples of why I've had a very unusual bringing up, because I could see a new painting every hour if I wanted to. But I watched my mother paint a lot of different people and different places and different things, and you're going to see a little bit of all of that if you take time to walk through this show.
But I mean, she lived here when Main Street and then Fall Street had stores and you could go.
She was in the middle of it.
Fall,
she was
right?
in the middle of it here.
She was part of it,
right?
In a way that now there's very little of that left.
Right. She's still near the falls. Still near the falls.
Yeah. Well, and the falls is there.
Yeah. It's still the anchor of the community, right? Something that's something built around, as it was the first time.
But then, in addition to Main Street, she also really enjoyed painting the industrial sites.
Right?
She
did.
It's just like when I think most of us thought it was ugly and smelly, because it was smelly, it was dangerous, not good for the environment. But she'd say, like, there's even beauty in that, right? And she would turn the towers into people, and and just try to capture some of the energy and the dynamism of the industrial sector.
Yeah.
In a way that powered Niagara Falls, right? And that's just not, well, I mean, some of it's there now, but not as much. And it certainly doesn't employ as many people now, right? But, and it looks grittier now. Yeah. It was gritty then too. I don't know.
Pretty in the winter. Always,
yeah.
Always up north, but certainly looked fresh.
But she wanted to find a way to capture that and share it and also make it beautiful.
And she did.
My mother, one day, she could do a portrait and get it done fast, or a bouquet of flowers. I look right here in the house. I'm sitting in the house, and I'm talking here, I'm looking out the back window, and what do I see out the back window today is all the lilacs. My mother loved lilacs, mainly because, as you'll see in the backyard, they're out this week, and they're out for only a week, and then they're gone for a year. She paints poppies in our backyard. They're the same thing. They're on here for a couple of days, a week, and then my mother would go out to another bunch of flowers, if you would, and put them on canvas, paper, mostly paper and watercolors, because she could do them so fast. The watercolor, what you see is what you get, because you can't erase it, so to speak. You can't oils, you can go over it, and she did go over a lot of oils. Watercolor, what you put on paper is what you get, because you can't. The paper is your friend. There's really no white in watercolor.
I like delight. Delight is my main thing in life, and anything that delights me, whether it be a face or a place or it's the Power Project. At times, I used to like very pretty places, but when I saw the Power Project going up, I fell in love with it. I thought it was the most interesting thing I ever saw. I had been painting very lovely paintings all over France and Spain and Italy, but when I saw this, I thought, well, heck, this is the most interesting thing going on in the world today. And I started doing little sketches of it, and the sketches got bigger and bigger. And finally, I was doing big oils right down. They gave me any place I wanted to work, gave me a hard hat, and stuck my easels right in the earth so it wouldn't blow over. And I would paint away for 3 hours or so on a canvas. And the canvases got bigger and bigger. Finally, I was doing 6-foot panels. And I just loved doing it. Somehow, to me, it was terribly exciting. And I tried to put my feeling and my delight into my work.
So when I think about Polly, and when I tell people about Polly, I always tell everyone that she was really fun. Mm-hmm. Like she just knew how to have a good time. Because if it wasn't a good time, why would you waste your time doing it? Yeah. If it wasn't something you enjoyed, right? So I try to, I guess, live that way a little bit. She taught me.
Yeah, and there's always something to do. right? And if there wasn't anything going on, you could always come here and do something with her, whether it was playing cards, because she liked to play cards, or paint, or read, or try to fix her television because it was always broken, or help her organize things.
Right.
I think,
There's nothing ever off limit.
no, that's
There's
right.
nothing off limit.
Always
So like
do
you
things.
could pick up things, or things that most people are like, oh my gosh, don't touch the china. Polly would be like, let's use that and have some tea, or let's try to make something on that.
Right.
She wasn't scared.
And even if
like
it broke, you made something with it.
she thought it was more interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe because no one else had a broken one like this.
Just,
The thing I think Polly made her mark on is this street,
yeah.
Chilton Avenue, because Polly knew she knew everybody, right? She knew even what flowers were grown in people's
Yeah.
gardens. I don't know if you remember, but some of the front lawns actually have. They used to be flower beds.
Yeah.
They weren't grass where you go up the stairs.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much almost.
Yeah,
The
almost
whole
all of
up
them
the
did.
street, most
Well-
10 houses in a row might have had them.
Yeah.
And I remember people giving her the flowers to paint. So they all knew her. She was like a staple of this street.
But she'd lived here for so long.
Right. From when my
Dad was
dad was
little.
born, right?
Right?
I have a wonderful story about Cezanne. Cezanne probably is one of her most famous artists that she was friendly with. When I say friendly with, one of her trips to France, Paris, Aix-Provence, she was the home of Cezanne, where he lived. She went up to the one day in Provence and knocked on the door, and an elderly lady came out. And my mother said, I'm from Niagara Falls, and I'd like to paint your place. I'd like to paint Cezanne's place. Wonderful place. And it was open to the public, his house, so to speak. And they made her comfortable. She painted his studio. I have the painting hanging in my home. And it's a wonderful painting of Cezanne's studio. And she did it in a couple hours, which she could do. And we framed it, and we entered that in an art show, let people see her range a little bit, and it was judged. That painting of Cezanne's studio, that painting won a major prize.
You painted because you love to paint. You want to put something down that's just so marvelous that you have to put it down somehow the best way you can on paper. I like what I do. I don't say it's the best thing that's ever been done. I don't say that. Nobody ever knows. But at least I enjoy doing it, and it's my joy and pleasure, my delight in whatever I'm doing. And I try to put that down on the paper in color. I don't like black and whites, although I have done many, many drawings in pencil and pen and ink, and I enjoy doing that too. But to me, if you can get the color that you feel that is there, and if I can bring it out more, that is my ambition, to try to put down the way I see it. And everybody sees things differently, and that's what makes it so interesting. But to me, I think delight is the main word that I try to put down because I feel it. No matter if it's an apple or a vase or a flower or a still life or a face or a figure, the whole thing, it's wonderful. There's so many beautiful things in the world, and so many people are not conscious of them. I don't like sad subjects, and very seldom do I paint them. But I just feel that there's not enough delight in the world. And when I find it, I enjoy it. And I try to put it down in my work. And if I can capture that, to me, that's enough.
Being prolific is a very good word for my mother, because she was spontaneous, very spontaneous, and she very, very quick. I used to talk about people getting portraits done and having their portrait done, and they'd have to go back for 2 or 3 or 4 sittings. My mother would painting in one afternoon. She would just be able to do a portrait. And someone would ask her how long it took her to do it. She said it took her 60 years to learn how to do it. So